The Las Vegas Raiders have moved on from safety Matthias Farley. This was a player that I did not anticipate that was going to make the Raiders' 53-man roster, and I literally just got done filming a video about the Raiders moving on from Darius Phillips right before this news happened. So now what you're going to see is me breaking down everything around the Darius Phillips move and who it impacts. Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and as promised, if the Raiders make a move, you're going to get a video, so hit that subscribe button. The first move that we have here on Tuesday is the Las Vegas Raiders moving on from cornerback Darius Phillips. I will admit, this is at least somebody to keep in mind in terms of potentially bringing back in case the Raiders move a player to IR, so just keep that in mind. But the Raiders, this was the very first player this offseason that Josh McDaniels, that Dave Ziegler signed. They signed him because of some of his versatility. He could play inside corner, but he also gave you some special teams ability. So what you're going to be hearing here on today's show is how many more players the Raiders have to get down to. They still have to move on from 21 players to get down to 53 by 4 p.m. Eastern time. And don't worry, I'm still going to be live a little bit later on today. We'll go through some depth charts, and we'll also talk about some roster bubble candidates that I think this helps, because for me, there's 3 names to keep in mind. So now when you look at the Raiders cornerback depth chart, Anthony Averett, Nate Hobbs, Rock Ya-Sin are your top 3 players. I had Darius Phillips in my 53-man, so this is a little bit of a surprise, but they like Trayvon Mullen. It sounds like he's getting healthy. I'm looking at a few names on this list, which we will talk about here in a second. So what's your one-word reaction, Nation? I am going to type surprised because I knew the Raiders liked him in terms of versatility, but you know what? I do think that they have a long-term plan set in stone here. But let me know down in the comments your one-word reaction when you heard that the Raiders moved on from Darius. All right, y'all, if you haven't already, rumors, updates all season long. I'm trying to get to 117,000 subs by the time I go live a little bit later on. So click that subscribe button. Turn on those notifications because this is the time of the year where it is essential. So in terms of who does this help? Who does the cut, I guess, of Phillips help the most? The first name that popped in my head, Sam Webb. Sam Webb was getting a lot of work. He's a UDFA at a Missouri Western. Getting a lot of work in the preseason. And this was when you can go all the way back. And if you don't believe me, go all the way back to my UDFA signings video, and I said Sam Webb is one of my favorite prospects that the Raiders brought in. He's tough. He's got a lot of tenacity at 6 foot, 200 pounds, but he was playing a lot on the outside, and yes, he got burnt here and there. That's going to happen when you're a rookie, but I'm a big believer in preseason. When you get opportunities, you need to make the most of them, and Webb did that. Shit, he should have had a touchdown. He had a fumble recovery, but to me, this really means that I think Sam Webb ends up making this roster. Another player that it could potentially impact is cornerback Amik Robertson, and there was a lot of hype around him during the offseason that the coaching staff liked his flexibility, and if you're going to be successful in a Patrick Graham defense, you need to be able to play multiple roles. They've tried him out at outside. I have said multiple times that I view him more as an inside corner because of his height. He's listed at 5'9", 183 pounds. I've seen Amik, and he is 5'8", 5'9", right? Like, he's 5'9" in cleats. But I love the fact that this dude was a bulldog when he first came out of college. 14 interceptions. He's had some interesting moves, no doubt about it. Has had a lot of different coaching staffs. But for me, the top 2 players that this helps out the most, Sam Webb and Amik Robertson. So after looking at that cornerback room, be honest with me, because I'm an honest human being as well, and that's why I do these videos, to have that conversation. I want you to imagine that you and I are sitting at a bar, sitting at a park, just chilling at home, just talking Raiders football. Grade the Raiders cornerback room A, B, C, D, or F. As it stands right now, I'm going to give this Raiders cornerback room probably a B grade. There are opportunities to upgrade. I like our top 3, top 4 players a lot. Some interesting prospects as you go down the line. Now, again, y'all, Darius Phillips moved on from the Raiders. This was the very first signing that they made in free agency, and this was a player that I anticipated them to make the roster. But now what you have to look at is the cornerback room, but also you have to think about how does this impact other positions, because up front, I had the Raiders keeping 5. I made the argument that they could keep 6. You know that the 3 people pictured are going to make the roster. Trayvon Mullen is more than likely going to make the roster. But then after that, do you keep Amik? Do you keep Sam Webb? I know the Raiders have been impressed by Ike Brown. Another position that obviously I want you to look at is safety, because Abram, Moehrig, Roderic, Duron, Harmon, I anticipate all 4 of those players making the roster. Teamer would be the one that's probably on the bubble, but a player that was just released in a crazy trade that happened today was Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. He got traded to the Philadelphia Eagles, and right before that, the Eagles released Anthony Harris. I've always been a big fan of Harris. I think he can play free safety, and one of the reasons why I love Tre'Von Moehrig, and one of the reasons why I always say he's going to be one of the best safeties in the NFL is because of his versatility. To me, Moehrig is athletic enough where he can play single high safety, he can be that center fielder, but he can also play nickel. And if you want to have an extra player that could fill almost that Darius spot that we thought we were going to use with Phillips, I actually think Moehrig could come up. You sign a player like Anthony Harris, and then you have even more versatility in your back end. The other, though, position group that I do think that this move impacts is this, special teams. But why does it impact special teams? Darius Phillips was brought on because he could not only return kicks, he could return punts, and he was getting a lot of work in that area. Now, I don't know exactly how much Hunter Renfrow gets back there as a punt returner. I know the Raiders like him, but they also gave him a 2-year, $32 million extension. The player that I believe that this helps out also, it's DJ Turner. Turner is your other player that the Raiders love his special teams ability. And if you're going to move on from a player who you potentially thought was going to be a special teams warrior for you, DJ Turner, this, in my personal opinion, is good news for him to potentially make that roster. Now, y'all, we appreciate all the real ones around here on the Raiders Report. We make a lot of content. We always try to keep you guys up to date. I am still going to be going live later on today, so once we get the remaining roster cuts, we right now have 74 players on the roster at the time that I am filming this video. I keep looking down to see if I get an update here from anyone. But as soon as we get the updates, we will make a video. We'll keep you updated. And if it's a big enough story, then I'm just going to flat out go live, and we'll see how long we can go live for. So shout out to the nation. Hit that subscribe button. Enjoy your Tuesday. And I'm going to be back a little bit later on. But again, off the top here, the Raiders, they move on from Darius Phillips. It is a little bit of a surprising move. He was a cornerback that could play inside a little bit. The Raiders liked his special teams ability. This helps Amik Robertson. This helps DJ Turner. This helps Sam Webb. I don't have the graphic for it, but I'm just going to ask you, if you made it this far in the video, if you could only keep one out of those 3 players that I just mentioned, Sam Webb, Amik Robertson, DJ Turner, let me know down in the comments which one you would pick.